a pleasant day. Today, I would like to share about my learning summary of every LPs. Now, I start to share the learning part 1. Learning part 1, the topic is learning centered theories. In this topic, we talk about the theories of the learning. I have learned that learning has different theories. In this learning part 1, we can learn that learning of the student is a very important role of the teacher to meet and to handle, mainly because it is refer on how the students start to enhance their ability to acquire knowledge from the lessons. I have learned also that learning has a lot of views. And as a future teacher, it is important to learn for me to equip more knowledge in reading and teaching and improving the intellect of the student or learners. As a teacher, we consider that student has different ways of learning. That's why, as a knowledgeable teacher, you need to learn more and how to handle those differences. And this learning path will help me to be more equipped and knowledgeable to face against this responsibility. Now, the learning path 2. The learning path 2 entitled Child, Adolescent, and Adult Learning. To be honest, I experienced some difficulties of answering these questions. But then, it is a challenge for me to answer those questions for me to learn and equip to be a future teacher. After answering this lesson, I have a lot of learnings. First is that a teacher, it is my account and responsibilities to teach both children, adolescents, and even the adult that need to learn. It is important to know their ways of learning or an audience or learners for me as a teacher to easily provide the learners' expectations, meets, and do fulfill the knowledge that they want. It is good for a teacher to know the steps or strategies in teaching the lesson, mainly because that was the only thing that you can be a productive, useful, creative, and fully equipped teacher. Now, the learning part 3, entitled Declarative, Procedural, and Functional Development and Socio-Cultural Dimension of Learning. In this topic, my learning about is that I learned how to approach to my student in the future. In this lesson, I learned a lot on how to connect my student and provide their needs, expectations to me as their teacher. It is very important to me as a teacher that to know the process of teaching to the student. Knowing their learning capacity for you as a teacher can easily meet the needs of the learners. The learning path number 4 or activity number 4. Social interaction, interpersonal relation, and communication in the learning process. In this topic, my summary learning of this lesson is that all about the social interaction which is exchanged between two or more individuals and also to identification of Goffman about the social interaction, namely exchange, competition, cooperation, conflict, and coercion. In these ways of socializing, the people around you, especially as a student or a teacher, it is important to know on how to handling this kind of interaction because social interaction results either be positive or negative result. In order for you to have a positive result, we need to consider what was the people that we socialize. In teaching process, it is important to a teacher to socialize to a student, especially in communication. For I believe that communication is a tool to help the student to learn in their lessons, mainly because communication it is the time that student expresses their thoughts, insights, or idea to the teacher or their classmates. The learning path number 5, entitled Research Finding on the Influence of Developmental and Socio-Cultural Dimension of Learning. My summary learning for this topic is that knowing the responsibilities of each individual, especially in improvement of family during the learning process of the learners or their children. Parents has a vital role of learning process of their children, mainly because parents is the first teacher. As we socialize the nature or the people around us, we consider that experience also has a significant to the learning of individual. As I study and read of this article, I have learned that there are some resources that child or a learner can get knowledge in order for them to learn. But one thing that a major role in this is that a learning that teacher can give to a student. Now, the learning pack number 6, which is the professional reading. I think the number 6 is same with the number 4 because they are the same titled also. And now I just want to explain about my learning while answering of this professional reading. In this topic, professional reading, my task is to research some professional reading and do summarize all this research and make a reflection on this. I have learned that it is important to read and read, mainly because reading is one of the tools that learner can learn more and acquire more ideas from what they have read. Not just also to know how to read, but it can help them to enhance their reading comprehension and understanding the articles that they have read. The learning pack number 6, or the significance of developmental and socio-cultural dimensions of learning and selecting strategies and methodologies. Concept of individuals' differences in learning. My lesson in this topic is that there are theories that if you study all of this, you can learn a lot. And also, there are many considerations when we apply and understand the said theories. I learned that there are many different intelligence that teacher needs to consider on his or her learners, or how can the teacher help to comprehend that intellect in order for the teacher to more active when it comes nurturing their knowledge. The learning pack number 7, which is a different style of learning. As a future educator, I need to learn some of a learning style of my student for me to be able to connect my lesson to them. In addition, it is not an easy task to provide, meet, and learn the respective learning style of my student. For I believe that I am not just teaching one student but a lot of number of the students. I learned that the 7 learning style is helpful for me as a future teacher, educator. Knowing and studying the learning style of the student is very important being a teacher, just because it is the connection between you and your student, or how you can adjust handling them in order to connect your goals and your objectives to the lessons. The learning pack number 9, based on the learning pack that my instructor sent to me. The learning pack number 9, entitled Children with Special Needs. As an educator, is not an easy task due to have a different behavior of the student you've handled, including some different difficulties of the students. As a teacher, in the future as of today, I realize that it is important to me to be more equipped in teaching and handling the differences of the student in order for me to meet the needs equally based on their ways of learning. I learned that in teaching the student that has difficulties that been shown in this lesson, I need to consider that you need to be patient, because I believe that patience is a virtue. All that I mentioned is my summary learning of the learning pack of this topic. Thank you and good day.